listening to Curtain Call with, hey, guess what? It may actually be Erik Ball on the phone. Erik is on remote. We sent him out on assignment. I lied to you for the last hour and a half. He's been doing some heavy thespian activity. Erik, are you out there today?
Oh, yeah, I'm out here.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Some heavy thespian activity.
Yes. Erik's wife was at a thespian conference this past week. Did you hear any?
It's the National it's the International Thespian Society, but it's the National Thespian Conference over there in Lincoln, Nebraska. And, it's the first time that our school that we teach at brought students over there, and so, she was flying back. I had to go pick her up at the airport.
Oh, I know. The duties of being a husband. I vaguely remember that. Erik, you've had a very busy week, and you're actually going to be my guest for a little bit if you've got the time.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
This week was actually quite interesting. We had over at Faith Lutheran HS our theater camp of the summer, which we call Mellow Dramatists. And what's unique about this camp and why I love it so much, it's in its 9th year, we kind of bring many worlds together, kind of take all the traditions of putting on a show and kind of turn it on its ear.
Oh, yeah, and I'm fortunate enough to participate a little bit, second year for me, teaching some workshops for the kids there. And it's great. You have such a fantastic program there at Faith because the kids are so excited and engaged, and you called them gladiators this year, but are they former students or just people that have worked with you in the theater community that want to give up their time? And I don't say give up their time because I want to offer my time, and I know they do too because they have so much fun being mentors to these kids.
No, it's kind of cool because the first couple of years we did it, I mean, like I said, this is in its 9th year. The first year we did the camp, it started off with kind of a Shakespearean flair. We did
everything tends to every theater company always starts with Shakespeare because it's cheap.
We start with Shakespeare, branch off from there.
Yeah,
and then we kind of Survivor was really, really big back then, and we kind of had this idea of doing a reality show.
Oh, okay.
Like a theater reality show. And I'm come from a marketing background, and so I thought, branding, marketing, and the program to the kids, it just seems kind of like a fun way to market it. And so what we did is we had about 60 kids the very first year, and then we kind of marketed it like you're going to be a part of Faith Lutheran's only reality show, And we had over 100 kids enroll that second year.
Wow.
So people were really interested in doing that. And we gave it a Survivor theme. It was called a Melodramatist Survivor Style or something like that. And we split the kids up into 8 different tribes. And each tribe had a council leader. And that council leader was somebody that has moved on from college and high school that's either working in the industry, a part-time community theater actor, a director, somebody that certainly has grounded ties in theater in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And, and throughout the course of the week, they, do workshops and everything that you would normally expect from a theater camp. But on top of that, they're also trying to generate a finished performance, some sort of themed project that they all are kind of rehearsing and putting together. And then there's a final performance at the end. But day by day, we have many challenges that all are centered around the elements of putting on a performance with, things like ensemble and creativity and technical elements like projection and blocking and staging. And
is it still done that way?
They're kind of, something that is silly. I think the element of silly is huge. You have to that's what's attractive to kids about theater initially is the spotlight and the fact that you get to play dress up and make believe every day.
Oh yeah, well you definitely have the silliness factor. Is the competition aspect still there, Survivor type? Because I know you kind of put in that competition, which is healthy to some respect. But this year, and I think last year you did as well. You did some mashups of this year. It was contemporary musicians, pop stars, and Broadway musicals. And I think last year you mixed up.
The mashup idea came around about 3 years ago, and we've been doing it the last 3 years. And it's what I found. I use the mashup as a device. It's like because the first year that we did Survivor, I think we just did scenes from musicals that we each the tribe council leader liked.
So you just produced a scene,
right,
and nothing original, just something that was already done. Yeah.
Right. And then one year we did something called Forbidden Broadway, because at Faith Lutheran, you can imagine there's certain shows we can't do.
Sure.
And so it's like they did scenes from like Sweeney Todd and Chorus Line, appropriate scenes from musicals that we couldn't do.
Aren't aren't high school versions of Sweeney Todd or Avenue? Oh, I think there's one for Avenue Q too. The Internet is for books, something like that.
That should happen.
Yeah. Now, is your Mellow Dramatist Camp only available to Faith Lutheran students, or do you sometimes allow outside?
Yeah, that's a good question. And here's the thing, it's only available to Faith Lutheran students, and the reason why, and this is something that I don't know, down the road in the 5-year plan will probably change, because there's a demand out there for people.
Certainly is.
Anybody who works in Las Vegas in any sort of theater education or at a dance studio that offers theater classes, everybody will tell you that there is a impending demand on this sort of thing. Kids want to be engaged. They want to be active. And there's a lot of hammy kids out there. They want to do theater. And when you offer classes, when you offer camps like this, they're going to enroll. But the reason why I'm not opening it up to everybody is simply it has to do with a little bit of administrative.
Yeah, I was going to say there's got to be some politics involved, and this is something you put on your own time. This is this is you. Theoretically, you have the summer off, and you love this so much that you're putting yourself out there for these kids, which. Watching them, I can see.
Radio show.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing this on your own time because there's a demand for it, and you want to fulfill that demand because you love doing what you do in theater.
True, and
that's kind of how I feel about Mellow. I see these kids every day in the classroom, and I see their potential, and I see, and during the school year, there's really truly only so much that you could do structured-wise, like in the classroom and after school in the rehearsal for the play or the musical. So that's why it's called Mellow, is because it's supposed to be in a kind of a more relaxed environment. It's kind of theater on their terms. It's during the summer, and if they can't make it on Thursday because mom and dad are taking them to Idaho to see grandma and grandpa, well, that's fine. It's theater on their terms.
They're not being graded for it. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I see your you have to do this. It's one of those things an actor has to act. You're a teacher. You have to do this. You see the need, and you're gonna do everything you can. Short of sacrificing a show that you're performing in, because for those that weren't aware, Erik and I closed out production of Crazy for You out at Super Summer Theater, and on top of everything else that Erik does, he had the Mellow Dramatists Camp this week, Mellow Camp for short. and half the Crazy for You cast was involved in it at some point. So Phil Shelburne's like, you better bring it to the show. Don't leave it all at Faith Lutheran. Yeah, and we had a great closing week. We're missing it already. So
yeah, and I was just going to say, with regards to Crazy for You, and I'm going to speak for Glenn as well.
How dare you?
Just a huge thank you to all the patrons that came out to support this show. I've been on lots of shows out in Las Vegas and out at the ranch, but just kind of the support and the outpouring of people that came out to see this musical. Gosh, I can't begin to tell you how much it was great to feel that support at the end of every show.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, I can't wait to go see Oliver, and when you get to listen to or watch the recording of this, you'll get to hear the fabulous voices of Oliver and Dodger.
Did they sing?
Oh yeah, I had an hour and a half to fill, bro. Oh yeah, I had him dancing on the radio. I had him. I think we wrote our own little musical.
What's it called? Gruel.
Yeah, we everything. You name it, we did it.
He played Pin the Tail on the Mr. Bumble. What else?
Wow, that I didn't even think about that.
You could have.
Wow,
that would have been fun.
I needed you here for that one. I wouldn't even thought pin the tail on the Bumble, Mr. Bumble.
I want to just kind of go back because if anybody...
Oh, please, please.
If anybody's listening that has been involved in Mellow as a gladiator, it sounds so foreign if you have no idea what we're talking about.
Well, they were talking in Cockney accents, so, no worries.
Or if Mellow Dramatist Theater Camp sounds like something that you might want to be interested in as a mentor or a workshop leader or something, here's something that's probably more on the horizon than opening this camp up to non-faith Lutheran students. Last year, several of the gladiators came up to me and kind of pulled me aside and kind of, in very much earnest. I mean, some of these handballs, it's kind of hard to get a true earnest line out of them sometimes.
Sure.
They said, Eric, listen, I know this is going to sound like crazy, but you need to do a camp like this for adults. You need to.
Oh, wow.
You need to. He goes, even if it's like 20 of us. He says, because, we would pay for this. This is, bringing in, guest speakers and workshop leaders and doing it in a fun and silly format. He goes, some of us, we're older now, but we love that element of silly and the element of, friendly competition. And he goes, and we don't get that.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
I'll be honest with you, I'm thinking about maybe trying to put together something like that's not attached to Faith Lutheran High School. That's just something that I do. I'm thinking about doing that and offering it.
I know you'll have the support of tons of people in this town, and you can count on me for any help and support for that idea.
Maybe it can be sponsored by Curtain Call. We'll have T-shirts.
You got to be a kid. I've gotten to participate just for a very short period of time with your students, and just you can see the look in their eyes that they are tuned into this, that they want to learn, that they want to know more, and the counselor, gladiator, leaders, friends, because I know most of them and are friends with them. They are. They have the energy of kids as well, which is, I don't know if you just pick them that way or.
I wonder if they're more excited about it than the kids.
You know what? I guarantee that there are a few. Miss Carrie Ann Parks, bless her heart, she's not here. Team Pink.
He was going crazy.
Oh
my! I mean, they were having so much fun. They did these things for last year. Okay, Carrie Ann was a part of it last year as well, and she really poured her heart into it. And I can say this as an unbiased judge because I didn't adjudicate the finished products, but she really did. And their team didn't win the overall competition, but they did so well. And this year going into it, she pulled me aside and said, "Listen, I'm gonna really, 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 really work with them and have lots of fun. But the goal this year is having fun. It's not going to be." I gotta win first place.
And I don't think I saw that as the end all purpose of doing this. It's a means to an end. It's something to to tie everything together.
It brings it around. But the thing was, she was on Team Pink. They had different colors this time. Every now and then we do. Like one time it was themed because it was the Olympics. The Olympics were on, so each team was a different country. They had to come up with their own country and create their own flag.
Yeah, last year was like cartoon characters.
The mashup had to do with cartoon characters from movies and musicals. So we had Jersey Boys mashed up with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and and all kinds of other crazy. Yeah,
yeah, and that was what were some of the ones this year? It was like Justin Bieber mashed up with Damn Yankees.
Damn Yankees.
You had Thoroughly Modern Madonna or something.
It was like shoeless, shoeless, shoeless Joe. Oh, shoe. It was really.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, yeah, I was joking with a couple. I think you had Joel Abelson and David Tarr running the red team, and that was their. And they were both in Damn Yankees a couple of summers ago.
It was so funny too because we picked the teams randomly.
Right.
I got a hold of the Gladiators weeks ahead of time. And we got we made a big dramatic deal about it, of course, because they have fun with it, too.
Sure.
And they picked it out, and they were just like, I don't know any of these musicals. Any get your gun? Are you kidding? And they said, oh, please let it be Damn Yankees. Please let it be Damn Yankees. And they picked Damn Yankees, and you should have seen them. It was just like...
I did see them. Our listening audience wishes they had seen them. Joel was in town just specifically for this. I mean, that says a lot about what you do in this town, Eric.
Well, I appreciate it. Here's the thing. Thank you so much, and your kind words mean a lot.
Wow.
But I really, truly believe, just like any theatrical project that anyone's involved in, everything starts with an idea, and I'm very, very glad I had the idea, but you can't do it alone. I mean, Curtain Call is a perfect example. I think there's a need for this show in the community, and last year I tried to put it on seat, but I did it all by myself, and I couldn't do it. I brought you and Carrie Ann on board, and here we are. I mean, you have
here you are, and now you're a guest on your own show.
Now I'm a guest on my own show. I'm sitting on my wife's comforter, and it's like it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. If you're just tuning in, you're an hour and a half early for our regularly scheduled broadcast of Curtain Call, but I'm
an LA Dodger thing tonight.
Yeah. So we actually started at 2:30 today. But if you're tuning in, I'm talking with Erik Ball. He's live on remote on his sofa under his comforter, and Erik's had a very busy week, and I was fortunate enough to catch him before we closed house today. And Erik is, he's. Forgive the poorly phrased statement, but Erik has touched a lot of. I can't even finish the thought. You are a big influence to the theater community because you work with a number of the kids in town. You direct productions, you perform in productions, and you're one of those. You're one of those people that everyone likes to work with in whatever capacity.
Well, I appreciate it.
Oh, don't start crying on me, jeez.
I'd like to thank all the little people.
Yes. Well, we had two wonderful little people. I actually had them reading out of the phone book in their Cockney accent. But you missed Sarah Andreas, who's playing Oliver, and Alexa Freeman, who's doing the Artful Dodger. They got some nice little voices coming out of their throats.
Now, what are you taping this so they can watch this on YouTube?
I'm the only one on the camera right now. Chris has been kind of hiding behind me, pushing buttons, and keeping the show from having any dead air.
Can't we just Photoshop a picture of Carrie Ann and I in there?
Yeah, I guess.
Photoshop it, probably.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah. I need a picture of your comforter too. Then.
After Effects. There we go.
Yeah, I'll put explosions in. That's why you guys aren't here. You were doing some missionary work, A-Team style. I don't remember where Carrie Ann said she had to be today, but I certainly miss both of you.
Yeah, something was going on with her today, and like.
Today, is a fluke, and I think we did okay today, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the whole point about taping the show is so that we can provide these links to the companies that we have on the show.
Of
so,
course.
Hopefully Oliver can point patrons.
Absolutely.
People to the interview. And here's the thing: it's not going to be every day that we're in a funky schedule like this.
Oh.
Every now and then we got to do what you got to do.
And you've got a life. Surprisingly, you do have a life outside of theater, and you have a wonderful wife that certainly understands it because she's involved with it as well. Yeah. So, I kind of want to get some of your personal thoughts. We got about 10 minutes left. You're you're doing the same thing I'm doing, running the, all over the place, burning the candle at both ends.
Right.
You just finished the year over at Faith Lutheran with, the kids, and I know emotions are crazy with graduating seniors, and then the excitement of upcoming class and meeting your new students. Then you got the Mellow Camp, and then, sir, you are insane because you bring back a radio program, and then you jump in and you're involved with 2 productions out at the ranch. I mean, I know how I do it by prescription drugs and Red Bull. How do you manage? Because you always
medication.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we should swap recipes.
The thing is, my philosophy with regards to theater and why it's bloody important, and I could talk for days about how it pertains to education and all the problems there.
Well, I certainly think we need to do that.
Maybe that's a whole show in itself.
Well, yeah. I know you and I have talked off the air about a number of ideas, but I'm very grateful that you did call because I think what you do at Faith Lutheran does need to be recognized outside of those individuals
that are parking spots. Well, that's nice too, but
yeah. Well, it's one of those things. I think I appreciate the education system to some extent, but I think
you're doing a great job of bringing the spotlight to me, and I truly appreciated your kindness and everything. Like for Mellow, I brought in like Kelly Burrows from Coronado High School, the head over there, and Tim Burris, the head of Meadows High School.
Yes, and I certainly but what I think what I was getting at is that and for Kelly and Tim and the music educators in town, a lot of times parents don't recognize what you guys put up with. And English teachers, math teachers, social sciences, the hard physical sciences. I mean, I have a respect for teachers in general. I've been there. I've done it. K through college. But I think there's an appreciation for what you do, because your time is not just in the classroom and not just grading papers. I mean, you put on, how many shows do you put on at your school a year? 6?
Well, we do 4, but next year we're doing 5 because we're silly.
Well, plus you also have the competitive. That includes the competition pieces too.
Right, we do those as well. And I think my philosophy of theater in school and kind of why I run myself ragged and I'm not the only person. I know many of my friends who just can't seem to stay away from an opportunity to perform or direct or generate props or something. It's because it kind of imitates life too. If you're passionate about something, you have to keep that particular inner well filled. You can draw from the well and give to others in the classroom. This is what I know. This is what I need to impart upon you. But you can only draw from that well so long before that well starts to get shallow or dry, and you need to fill that well back up again. I mean, just like my relationship with my wife or something, I need to keep that well filled. That my passion for my marriage, you have to keep that well filled. My passion for theater, I have to keep that well filled. And it's the same exact thing.
And you're married. And you're married to a woman that understands that. Which
she's part of that.
Well, of course,
I'll tell you right now, my wife was not a part of this year's Melodramatist because she was in Nebraska.
But she was there with some of your students, though, right?
I felt like it was missing something very integral. And that's part of the ensemble community that makes up theater. She's very much a part of that. She co-founded the program with me. So it's kind of like Melodramatist would not be Melodramatist today if it wasn't for my wife. So it's kind of like that partnership. And it doesn't have to be your spouse. It could be, any one of the gladiators that have provided. I mean, without the gladiators, we have no Mellow.
True.
Without the, it's like it's really a community effort. And each person that provides something for it is also something that is filling their well as a result of it. It's really circular that way. It comes around and it fulfills you and makes you whole again. More than anything, that's what the kids love about it, and I think that's why I have no problem going to bed at 2:30 every morning because I can get up in the morning after that because I'm filled.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things where when I have 2 or 3 days off, I have to go out in my garage and paint the garage or reorganize the closets because I have to keep going.
Yeah.
And I think that people who are passionate about their art, their theater, I think they're the same way. They have to do it because that's what makes them whole. And
I agree with you 100%.
I can't say thank you enough to everybody who's involved. Glenn, seriously, Glenn, I'm not going to sell Glenn short here. He is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant man, and he did an improv workshop with the kids, and every parent that kind of snuck in and he's caught a little bit of it, they were just like, this man is brilliant. And I was like, I know, that's why I like him so much, is because he makes me look smarter. But so it's kind of like you really did a great job, too. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And like you, having the opportunity to work with kids is a different aspect of what I love about theater than being on stage. And I want to thank you for the opportunities that you've given me, because a year ago, you and I had just met.
Barely knew each other.
And you gave me an opportunity on the stage, and then brought me into with the radio show and become lifelong friends, which I cherish.
Another thing theater does.
Yeah,
it brings people together.
But the opportunities, to teach, which I've had the fortunate opportunity to teach for the Nevada Thespian Society and Clark County School District, various educational facilities, and I've done improv workshops, all over the place, cross country. It's just one of those things that fills up a different part of the well, and I get as much out of teaching as I hope the students do, and I see you the same thing that it's if you could harness that into some sort of perpetual motor, we could destroy. Let's destroy the oil industry. We don't have any sponsors, do we? No. Okay, Chris is shaking his head. We don't have any oil sponsors.
And Glenn and I are going to be in Joseph at the ranch. We have, we're looking and planning for next year at Faith Lutheran. We've got Oliver coming up at Super Summer Theater. You can go out and see Evil Dead the musical. You can go out and see Company that's being performed by Ragtag. You can go. See, here's the thing. Even though Melodramatus is over for me, my proverbial well runneth over still. And that's kind of the cool thing about this community that people tend to forget, and that's why I wanted to do this show, is that there's so many opportunities to make sure your well is filled.
Well,
even if it's just as a theatrical patron who enjoys a good show. Go and tap into that.
And I want to cut in because we're just about out of time.
Okay.
And so I want to segue out by thanking Erik for spending the rest of the afternoon with me. You're listening to... Oh, no, not at all. But you're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball now, finally. And go out and support local theater. Until next week, you have a sign-off, Erik? Anything at all?
No.
No? Okay, well then we'll just play
again next week.
We'll just play some of the outro music then.
6 o'clock. 6:30?
Let's shoot for 6 next week.
Okay.
All right. Erik, we'll see you soon. This is Curtain Call.
Thanks for listening.
All right, man.
How fresh is Sweet Tomatoes produce? Let's just say within 24 hours of being in the ground, it's on a refrigerated truck on its way to the restaurant. Sweet Tomatoes food is fresh from the farm to your fork and made from scratch every single day. Sweet Tomato Salad Bar includes fresh tossed signature salads and fresh cut produce, plus 8 made from scratch soups, hot pasta, muffins made from scratch. You can also create your own low-fat yogurt dessert. Something healthy and nutritious for the entire family. Treat yourself and your family to fresh, great-tasting, wholesome recipes, fresh seasonal vegetables, and tossed salads prepared every 20 minutes. There's 4 Sweet Tomato locations in the Las Vegas and Henderson area. For more information and hours, visit www.sweettomatoes.com or call 888-374-8358.
With the home foreclosure crisis upon us, vacant properties and deserted houses are changing the landscape of our neighborhoods. These deserted